Alright, the next class we're going to review is Hunter. The first card is the legendary minion, 8 mana 6/6 Katarina Winter Wisp, Battlecry, and Death Rattle. Recruit a beast. Now this card is obviously a super value card. This card alone could spawn a big hunter archetype. That's how good it is. So it really comes down to, is big hunter good enough to see play? And I'm really not sure about that right now. I think maybe. I think it might exist. So I'm going to go based on Big Hunter being a real deck. And because of that, I gave this Hunter Legendary Minion a 4 out of 5. Alright, the next card is the Hunter Legendary Weapon, Rokdalar, 7 mana, 4 attack, 2 durability. Battlecry, if your deck has no minions, fill your hand with Hunter spells. I can tell you right now, this is the first 0 of the review. The first one of a few. There's a few zeros in here, but this is definitely a 0-star card. This is a joke. This is no minion hunter cannot possibly be competitive. I think it'll be a fun deck, but it's just terrible. This weapon is even terrible, even if you were playing a minionless deck. It just costs way too much. Like, you're going to play this and your opponent's going to play Bone Mare. Then what do? You lose. So, it's just not any good. It's a 0. Definite 0. Be sad if you open that one. Alright, the next card is a 7 mana spell for Hunter, Crushing Walls. Destroy your opponent's left and rightmost minions. We're going back-to-back zeros. This is another 0-star card. This card just costs way too much for what it does. Like, compare this, like, it's just bad. The only cool thing about this card is in Arena, because in Arena, like, when you're playing against Hunter, you used to think about playing around Explosive Shot, and so to play around Explosive Shot, you'd usually put your big minions on the outside and a small minion in the middle. And this card is kind of the opposite, so you don't want your big minions on the outside. So in Arena, do you play around Crushing Walls, or do you play around Explosive Shot? The answer is Explosive Shot, because Explosive Shot is a rare, and this is an epic. So you're better off playing around Explosive Shot. This card is terrible. It's a 0. The next Hunter card is a 6 mana spell, To My Side. Summon an animal companion, or 2 if your deck has no minions. The meme card of the set, the bad meme. This is another 0-star card. That's 3 zeros in a row for Hunter. This card isn't even good if you get the stipulation of 2 animal companions. 2 animal companions for 6 isn't good enough. That's not even enough value. That could say 3 animal companions if you meet the stipulations. Then it might see some play, like in a late-game Hunter, but at 2, it's just not even worth running. It's just not. It's terrible. It's a 0. Oh. Go back to the card page. Alright. The next card is a 6 mana 5/4 Seeping Oozling. Battlecry, gain the death rattle of a random minion in your deck. This card probably belongs in more of like a big hunter style deck. It's just a question if it's good enough to run in there or not. Like, what high value death rattles are there in standard right now? I mean, there's obviously High Main, and then there's the legendary Katarina, which would be pretty good, Recruit a Beast, if you're playing Big Hunter. So it has application there. Otherwise, it's a little slow. Like, if you're copying, like, Kindly Grandmother or something, it's okay. It's not great. So I think it has more potential in Wild, where the death rattles are a little more insane. And for that reason, I gave this a 2. I don't think it's good enough. Even in Big Hunter, it's questionable because it's so understated and it's random. So if you're playing very specific death rattles, I think it has a place in Big Hunter, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not that impressed with it. 2 stars. Alright, the next card is the Spellstone for Hunter. It's a 5 mana, summon 2 3/3 wolves, and the upgradable part is play a secret to upgrade. Let me click on it so we can see the upgradable cards. So it can go do summon 3 wolves or 4 wolves if you get it all the way upgraded. This card was on the reveal stream and it was actually performing incredibly well. I think Hunter, even Big Hunter, I think has the capability of still running secrets, like a freezing trap, probably 2 freezing traps even, So I do think this card has application in a big hunter and even a mid-range hunter. I think it's a solid mid-range hunter card. So for that reason, I gave it a 4. I think it's a great value card. Lots of beast synergy. It seems pretty good. So I think 4 is appropriate. Alright, the next card is a 4-mana spell, Flanking Strike. Deal 3 damage to a minion, summon a 3/3 wolf. I think this card is pretty insane. It's a better Fire Plume Phoenix, and it has beast synergy. It's a better SI, to me anyway, because it's the beast synergy in Hunter. It's a better Medivh's Valet. It's a mini fire elemental. It just seems good all the way around, especially with the beast synergy. So for that reason, I gave Flanking Strike a 5-star. I think it's probably the best Hunter card revealed. Spoiler. Alright, the next card is a 3-mana minion. It's Cave Hydra. It's a 2/4 beast. Also damages the minions next to whomever. Whomever this attacks. Excuse me. We've seen these kinds of cards before, and they usually don't pan out. Hunter does have the ability to buff minions in hand, and I think that's the only place this would see play in like a buff hand Hunter. Otherwise, it's just too slow. If it's buffed, it seems pretty good, but that's really it. And Hunter is so overloaded at 3 mana that I don't think this quite has a place unless you're playing hand buff Hunter, which isn't really a thing. So for that reason, I gave it a 3, because it has some potential, but I don't think it's quite there. Okay, the next card is a 2-mana Secret for Hunter called Wandering Monster. Secret: when an enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3-cost minion as a new target. That seems pretty good on paper. It's like a better Noble Sacrifice. Of course, it costs 1 more. You could definitely high roll a 3-drop. You could definitely low roll a 3-drop. So the RNG kind of makes it iffy. That I don't think it's going to see play, but it could in like a full-on Secret Hunter. For that reason, I gave it a 3, because I think it will see experimentation in Secret Hunter, but I don't think it's good enough to stay, if that makes sense. All right, last card for Hunter. A Hunter weapon, guys. There hasn't been a neutral Hunter weapon in so long. But it's a 1-mana, 1 attack, 3 durability weapon, Candle Shot, immune while attacking. It seems like it's okay, but I don't actually think it is, because so many people are running Firefly. This does nothing against Firefly. Like, if your opponent plays Firefly on 1, then you play this, like, what have you gained? Nothing. It's just too weak. It doesn't deserve a space in your deck, I don't think. You'd rather just play a 1-drop minion instead, I think. You'd rather play your own Firefly. So the immune is nice, but I don't think it really puts the card over the top. I gave it a 3. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't think it'll see any play, but it could. It could. Alright, so that's the Hunter review. Going back over, the best card to me is definitely Flanking Strike. The Hunter Legendary Minion I think is very cool and could spawn a big Hunter archetype. The bad part about Hunter is I gave 3 0-star ratings to Roke-Dalar, Crushing Walls, and To My Side. So Hunter's a little bit of a mixed bag. A couple good cards, but way too many bad cards. So that's Hunter. Thanks, guys. I'm going to move on to the next class.